It is a double match week in MLS. A nice midweek for the Oso, and we are back here on Bet MLS, ready for, I guess we'll call this week 6 of MLS, week 5, week 6, double match week. I guess for MLS fantasy purposes,
we're still in
it's
week
1
5 here. We're still in week 5 here.
Right, for MLS fantasy purposes, if they consider it week 5, we'll call it week 5. Ben, it's been a pretty good freaking 72 hours, 96 hours for you. The dogs are barking, man.
I mean, what can I say? I'm just really good at this.
Quality over quantity, right? Like, that's why anyone who tells you their record in picks, record is not important. What's important is
very
units.
much not so.
What's important is units, and you've been hitting them, man.
I mean, I'm up over am I up over 14 or so, or 12? I mean, the last night it kind of ended on a sour note, but it started out great with I had Toronto, of course, and I had a draw in Philly, New England. That was really, that was some pretty good bets, and of course, I'm coming off a great weekend.
I was going to say,
I'm picking up the right goal scorers. It's all coming up. Also,
have you bought your Bebe Reynoso jersey yet?
I have not, but if certain people in Minnesota hear this podcast and want to send me some gear, I'll take it. Hit me up, Turkey.
Hit him up. So yeah, plus 4.5 units for you last weekend. I was up a unit last weekend. Pretty good weekend for me as well. We both hit some plus money plays. Disgusting performance from Inter Miami last night to manage 0.3 of a expected goals when you've got Pizarro, both Higuains, World Cup winner Matuidi. You're playing against a goalkeeper that's basically has like 3 starts in his MLS history, and you get 1 shot on goal. Are you kidding me?
It's not surprising. They're not a very good team.
They're not, and they're not a very well coached team either. They just don't look like they have a clue what's going on right now, and we'll get into that in a minute because yeah, you're going to be, and I love it. You're going to be fading Inter this weekend. But let's go ahead and get into our picks for this weekend, and we'll start off with you, Ben. You are going to the Rocky Mountains.
Yeah, so I think I've picked against the Rapids a couple times this year, but look, here's the deal. Since Sam Vines has come back into the 11 and they've been able to move Kellen Acosta back into the midfield, they're 2-0 and they're going to be at home this week. I'm trying to pull up honestly, I forgot who they're playing because I was so confident. It's minus 120. They're playing Houston. Look, Houston's coming up, obviously. A big win last night. We're recording this on Thursday. They're coming up a big win against SKC. I'm not sure.
Undeserved.
I'm not sure if it was the most deserved victory that we've ever seen. They have to travel to the Rocky Mountains on just 2 days rest because they're playing on Saturday. I think this is a great pick. I think we see the Rapids going 3 in a row here against a team in the Dynamo who I don't think is very good.
Yeah, I love this pick. I mentioned to you, this is one I was looking at as well. And I think you mentioned it in Kellen Acosta, right? Like, he's playing some of the best soccer of his career. I love the story too, because he's a guy, obviously I know from Dallas, who looked like he could have, been the future of the national team, went through some really tough times, personally, professionally, goes to Colorado, kind of flies under the radar for a while. Now he's back somewhat in the U.S. national team setup. I don't think we'd be shocked to see him get a call to the Gold Cup as a fringe guy.
I think he's a Gold Cup guy. I don't really think he's.
But looking at where he was at, you got to give him a lot of credit. He's worked his way back into the discussion. Rapids playing great right now against a Dynamo team, like you said. They kind of got their points in the bag this week, and not a bad price there at minus 120. The Rapids at home, always really tough. So I like that.
And if you can find a better price, I may have been told that it's minus 110 in some other places. So always go out on Line Shop and find the best line for you. As we've noted multiple times on this. Generally the game lines, they're pretty similar. Again, we're talking about minus 110 versus minus 120. Look, if that could be a significant amount if you're going to be betting significant money, but it's not the biggest disparity. You're going to find bigger disparities in other aspects.
I was going to say we've been getting some great fan interaction on our Twitter account at BetMLS_. And last weekend when we were kind of talking about biggest wins, worst beats of the weekend, some people were talking about that some teams costing them $1,000, whatnot. That's a little bit over my unit range right now. Maybe one day we'll get there. But like you said, the difference if you're betting at that level, you want every single price,
Yeah, of
best price
course.
you can possibly get. So I'm going to stick for my favorite bet of the week. I am going to go back to the well on the Seattle Sounders. They are at home this weekend against LAFC plus 125. Now, this almost seems like a trap to me because the Sounders at home plus money, that, like you said last weekend with the Timbers at home plus money, I mean, the Sounders are the hottest team in MLS. And when you're talking about playing games back to back to back, sometimes you don't want that. If you're the Sounders right now with the form you're in, I think you want to play a game every 3 or 4 days, keep racking up those points. They're a relatively healthy team right now. Christian Roldan playing, well,
Are
they're
we sure
healthy
about
enough.
that?
They're healthy enough. Christian Roldan, when he's playing as well as he is, he's playing probably the best soccer of his career. Ladero, yeah, he's not the most healthy,
Well,
but
what about Stephen Fry, who looks like he may have had a significant injury last
uh,
night? They're gonna have to turn to their backup goalkeeper, and also Jody Delem looked like he had not that he's more of a fringe player, but
I'm
look,
not
we
worried.
might have
Look,
injuries that happened against the Quakes last night.
it's not Stephen Fry though that's winning them the games right now. It's
Fair.
Raul Diaz. It's their attack, and against an LAFC team that, look, they're not quite right now. Now, I don't doubt for a second that they're going to be right there around playoff time, but with Vela out, Tristan Blackman is an absolute disaster at the back. He's costing them goals. He was at fault for both of the late Galaxy goals. And I really like Raul Diaz. I'll talk about this in a little while, but he's on fire at home right now. I like the Sounders plus 125 at home. Like I said, I bet on them last week. I'm going to go to the well again. Give me Seattle at home, playing really well right now. Now, as we transition here to our dogs of the week, I'll start out with this one. We'll keep the listeners around for Ben's because he's hitting them so well right now. My dog of the week, I'm going with the New York Red Bulls plus 280 traveling to Philadelphia. Red Bulls are playing pretty well right now. You know, they've really figured it out a little bit at home. Okay, not against the highest caliber of competition, but they have 2 shutouts in a row. They figured it out at the back after a pretty, the performance against the Galaxy. They look super shaky, but they figured it out. Fabio up front, he's playing. He's going to be a cult hero, I think, right now. You can see cult status rising for Fabio. He's got some assists. They're getting goals from the midfield as well. Going to a Philadelphia team didn't look amazing against New England. They were able to get that point on Wednesday night. Red Bulls didn't have to play. They're a little bit fresher. Plus, this is the case where, again, plus 280, I feel like that number is a little bit high for a Red Bulls team that's in pretty good form right now. And so I'm going to take them plus 280. What are your thoughts on that one?
I think all your points are valid. I don't love the Red Bulls pick here, but I would say, yeah, it's more about, I think 280 is a little high. I think it should be around, 200, somewhere 220, somewhere in that range. So if you're trying to buy some, if you're trying to use that, buy some value, I think that's a good option with the Red Bulls. Yeah, and they're playing well. Feeling that little CCL hangover, going to be playing on short rest.
Yeah.
So I think it's solid. It's not what obviously I went with, but
not a lot of great options outside of
no.
I did now your dog. I did look at this one, and I'm very interested to hear your thoughts because I texted you. It's a little bit of a hold your nose and click bet on this one, but the opponent I am fading heavily right now. So let's hear, going for 3 in a row, your dog of the week.
It's actually Cincinnati. They're plus 240. They're at home. Okay, but let's get into this a little bit.
Let's get
into it. Miami, not very good at soccer. Their one good game was against the Union, who were dealing with CCL at the time, right?
And they might have gotten a little lucky. They played 20 good minutes against the Union, basically.
Yes, with Federico on the field, they played well for a little while. They're playing Miami. Miami's like plus 100 right now, and Cincinnati's plus 240. I don't get Miami's a little bit better, but they're not that much better. I don't really get that at all. And I think what the big thing here is that maybe you're missing is, of course, they're opening a new stadium.
I know.
How many times do teams lose these games? Never, ever. Look, we're going to go back. I'm going to go back and take you through this. Look, the last one was, we're not going to, like, Miami, we're not including Atlanta. We're talking about like new soccer-specific stadiums after playing in other stadiums, basically, is what I'm going with here. Or soccer-specific, because we're going to talk about this. Minnesota was the last one. Draw, fine. It's 3-3, whatever. It was cold, it was snowy, whatever. I remember that game. Let's go back through the rest of them. LAFC, win. DC, win. Orlando, win. San Jose, win.
Some good
You
mojo
can't
there. Definitely some good mojo there.
you can't tell me that Miami's that much better than Cincinnati right now. I know Cincinnati's very bad, but they're not this bad. And I think they're with all the excitement around the new stadium. Maybe not the new signing. I'm not so sure about that one. But I think there's gonna be too much excitement, and just teams don't lose these games.
Yeah, and with a tricky board for the dogs again. I mean, you're kind of it's a little bit of a dart throw here. I like the mojo there. Since he's been absolutely terrible, maybe not as bad XG. If we're taking XG into it, maybe they've been a little worse. But hey, we'll see what happens. Two teams that are pretty disgusting right now. Probably pretty even. So if
Yeah,
you're getting
these are
plus
two
240,
bad soccer teams. You're getting a plus 240 at home.
Yeah, we'll take it. We'll see what happens. Hopefully we can go for 3 in a row there. Now, your totals have been really good too. Missed out on the one on Wednesday, no biggie. Let's hear what you've got for your favorite
Missed out
total of the
because
league.
Joe Willis decided to be, I don't know, Alisson or Ederson out there.
Nashville, and yet you're still betting on Nashville. Don't bet Nashville. Nashville.
I know, we've been over this.
We've been over this. Nashville is on the do not bet list.
Look, we've seen, we saw on Wednesday night a lot of unders and a lot of low scoring matches. So it's a little bit, you might want to, maybe we're heading towards maybe that little. MLS kind of goes in like spurts, and you start the season maybe it's high scoring, low scoring, and then you get June, May, June, July, that's kind of high scoring, and then you hit the doldrums, and that's kind of how generally it works in MLS. So maybe we're hitting a little bit of a low scoring patch. What I'm looking at here is RSL Nashville, both teams to score. It's minus 125. That's actually really good odds for both teams to score. From what, if you look at all the ones, that's probably the lowest one that I saw. Look, Nashville, I think we've seen their attack play really well, going by expected goals. And we've seen, their defense have some holes here and there. And I think on the road, it's a little bit more likely that they're going to give up a goal here. RSL, obviously, they had a great bike last week. It's not. Look,
no, they should score.
MLS, not everything makes a lot of sense. RSL's playing at home, and Nashville, I think, they haven't looked. RSL's playing at home, and Nashville has had a good attack. That's basically what we're going with here.
Yeah, and first road game for Nashville. We haven't seen them on the road yet, which is kind of insane to think about. But yeah, no, I bet this last week with RSL San Jose, both teams to score over 2.5 at hit. Thank God for Wando. So yeah, and like you said, again, an odds play minus 125 for both teams to score at MLS is a very low number. If you're getting, I should say, a good number. If you're getting close to even money for that, that's a good number. I'm going to a team that didn't score last night, San Jose. But I've got San Jose, Portland. I hit a both teams to score over 2.5 last week. I'm going to go back to that well again. Also, San Jose, Portland, both teams to score plus over 2.5 goals, coming in at minus 130, just a tick higher than yours. Look, San Jose, they got shut out against Seattle last weekend, even playing against Alex Roldan in goal for the last 6 minutes or so. San Jose has not been shut out at home twice in a row since Matias Almeida's first 2 games in charge in San Jose. I don't see them getting shut out 2 games in a row. They've got too many weapons in attack. I wonder if we see maybe Wando starts this game after being on the bench on Wednesday night. And Portland, look, they're a little bit banged up. I got a little bit lucky in the Seattle win with those 2 retaken penalties. I needed that luck.
I mean, come on, Diego.
I'll take it. Yeah, I'll take it.
I won that one. It if he just does what he usually does.
I think this game is actually going to be very high scoring. The total is set at 2.5, and I think this one's going to be a high scoring game. I think Portland comes in here. I looked at them for my dog as well. They're almost right at that plus 200 number. I think Portland needs a win pretty bad. They need these points. They've been off for a week now, a little bit banged up. But I think both teams go into this one looking for goals. And so, yeah, I'm going to back that. Both teams to score over 2.5. I don't see San Jose getting shut out twice in a row at home. I don't see Portland getting shut out right now. And so I'll take that number. So I said earlier, Seattle, I stuck with them. I'm going with them again on my goal scorer. And this is a little bit of a square pick. We've talked about square picks in the past, but you took Raul Ruidiaz's first goal and got the 3-1.
First goal.
I need some wins. I need to pile up some units. I don't have those guts. I'm taking Ruidiaz to score anytime at even money. Now, I know we say when you're picking goal scorers that even money is not a great number, but Raul Ruidiaz has scored 2 goals in each of his first 2 home games. He has scored in his last 7 home games. Now, when you're giving me even money for something that has happened 7 times in a row against an LAFC team that, like I mentioned, they do not have it all together at the back, give me the Ruidiaz. I'll take the chalk a little for a goal scorer. This is chalk. I'll take it. Even money, Raul Ruidiaz to score at home against LAFC. Total set at 3.5 again. The bookies expect goals here. If Seattle scores a couple of goals, there is much better than even money odds that Raul Ruidiaz will have one of them. He didn't score on Wednesday night. Give me the Peruvian even money to score at, what is it, Lumen Field now?
Lumen Field.
Lumen Field.
Don't you know this, former Sounders employee?
Well, in my day, it was CenturyLink.
Okay.
but yeah, give me Raul Ruidiaz to score. You are going back to Yankee Stadium.
Yeah, I think this is a theme, and we're going to touch on this again with my Chelís, is we have a lot of teams playing on Wednesday night and then playing on Saturday. Yep. 2 days rest. We've talked about 2 days rest versus 3 days rest. Big difference between 2 days rest and 3 days rest. There's a lot more, what you're able to do in 3 days rather than 2 days. So we're looking at Toronto heading up to New York. They played on Wednesday night in Florida. They have to play in New York at 1 o'clock on Saturday. So that's not even threefold. That's not even you're barely getting any regen time because you have to travel. They're probably going to travel Friday night, I bet. So it's not even 2 full days of regen and rest.
Yep.
So they're heading up to New York. I won some money on them last night, but I am going to be going against them. I was looking at them as my pick, NYC, but minus 175 was not the number I wanted.
Yep.
So I'm going to go with the goal scorer here. I'm going with Maxi Morales. He takes their PKs. He doesn't have to score this year. That's fine, whatever. I think he takes their PKs. I think this is looking like a 3-0, 3-1 NYC win. I'm going to go out on a huge limb and say that. I'm not actually putting that as one of my picks here, but that's what I'm thinking because of all the rest. And, Toronto got their win already this week. So that's plus 160, Maxi Morales.
NYCFC minus 1.5 plus 165. That's not some bad numbers there. And like you said, Morales hasn't scored yet, so it's a little bit of a buying the dip on that one. Plus 165, and we've said this a bunch.
I was trying to get some decent odds here. Castellanos plus 140. Maybe.
I love Morales. I love him at
with the PKs.
Yep, exactly. All we need is one flying tackle in there from that homegrown rookie. The rookie center back.
And taking somebody down. I don't know.
Yes, exactly. So I like that. Okay, cool. Plus 160. We'll see if we can hit that one. You mentioned your Chelís a little bit. Let's go ahead and get into it. We were not really close last week after coming very close the weekend before. I was just at one pick off. Let's hear your Chelís for this week.
All right. I mean, as you'll be able to see, all these games we've talked about, almost all these games already, or 3 of the 5, I believe. It's all picking against, in some form or fashion, teams that only have 2 days rest. Teams that played Wednesday and Saturday, or even Thursday and Sunday, I think is one of them, or maybe not. So 2 days rest. NYC win, we talked about that, minus 175. Atlanta win, minus 145. Colorado, we talked about them, minus 120. Portland, we talked about them, winner draw, minus 160. And then Orlando, winner draw against DC. So that's the Thursday to Sunday one, minus 275. I'll add all that up. It's only plus 977 is what I'm seeing. So about 10 to 1. So not the most out on the limb thing we've ever seen. Not the 5 to 1 I did that 1 week. But I'm liking this strategy a little bit.
Yeah, and last week you were at 60 to 1, so you gotta drop it down a little bit. We'll try and get back on a winning streak. I like that because I have a few of those as well in mind. You're not touching Seattle, huh?
Look, I'll just say, coming off of what we saw last night with Fry and Delem going down. Delem again, not the biggest deal, but I think these are games that Seattle can't win every game.
LA with the week off. Yep.
LA with the full week. I just think this is right for a classic MLS. I mean, I said this last week.
Yeah, no, you're right.
This is right for a classic MLS. Like, you don't expect this to happen at all because of the way one team is playing versus the other team. I believe LAFC went into Seattle and beat them at least once last year. So, no? I remember them.
3-0. They won 3. Seattle has won 3-0, 3-1, and 3-1 in their last 3, I believe. They have pounded LAFC.
I didn't do my research now. I didn't actually pick that. So I'm just saying things that, whatever.
Sure.
I could see. Yeah, I'm just not feeling. It's just not enough for me.
Stay away for you. Well, cool. So my Chelís is coming in at just under 20-1. It's an 18-1, and I've actually got a few of the ones you like as well in here. I've got New York Red Bulls to win or draw, which I already talked about that one. I'm not going to take them to win, but to get some sort of result. I've got the Rapids money line, like you. I've got Portland at plus at win or draw. So getting some sort of result in San Jose. I think they need this result pretty bad, and I can see them getting it. Orlando City win or draw against DC United, and I've got the Sounders plus 125 there. So a couple of money lines, and then Red Bulls, Timbers, Orlando City win or draw. And again, that's coming in nearly plus 20-1. So I like that one. Well, cool. Well, that is going to be our picks for this week. Let's see if you can keep your dog streak going. If you get to 3-1, man, 3 in a row, that would be pretty freaking impressive. The nice thing is too, man, when you hit that you were sitting pretty yesterday. Like you probably went to sleep early. You already had your money in.
Nah, well, I'm talking about this stuff. I don't go to sleep early. I watch all the games. Come on. Who are you talking to?
The Oso doesn't.
1 o'clock in the morning some nights. Who knows?
The Oso wasn't hibernating. So
look, Oso is out here. Look, if you're watching a video, Oso is out here.
Yes, there you go. So yeah, interesting week. Interesting week. Let's hear your picks on Twitter. A lot of midweek to weekend stuff. So let's see how we do this weekend. Thanks for listening, and we'll catch you next time on Bet MLS.